Well, hello. Ooh, 8:30 in the morning. Just getting up. Gonna do my routine. Cheers. You know, it's funny how people have sent me really nice cups over the years and they always break. And then something as common as a record store day cup, just they last a long time. I don't know. Weird, isn't it? Hey, folks, I'm glad that you were able to watch the interview yesterday. Really, it was more of a visit. I mean, it was an interview, but it was a visit. It ended up a visit. I ended up visiting with him for a while after we were done. Chester Thompson, truly a great drummer, and what a nice person. You know, humble human being. I knew that he would want to talk about not religion specifically, but about paths, our paths. He wanted to talk about Jesus, and that's cool with me, you know, because again, I've studied, you know, he said, you know, in his own words, he's been studying, he and his wife for a long time, and he feels like he's only now getting it. I understand that. From my perspective, I won't explain it now, but he and I are in our own way on the same path. I have no need for definitions that others dogma. No need for it. So anyway, Bill, thank you for making that happen. As I've said before, I'm not pursuing interviews. They happen. If you know, if you're if you're one of my friends, and it pops up to ask you, then that's what happens. That's what happened with Mick Conroy. And I had asked, okay, just forget it. Okay, I just I had tentatively contacted a couple of people a while back, and they said they were kind of interested, but when it came down to it, it wasn't that big of a deal. So, with regards to current music, if there was someone, is there anyone that I would like to interview? Even though he's everywhere right now, I would love to speak to Steve Hackett. That's someone that I would appreciate. Another person who I think would be an interesting conversation because he seemingly is so unreachable is Peter Gabriel. And those are two people who figure into my personal listening history very, very large. So we'll see if his management follows through with getting a copy of his album to me. I plan to get it one way or the other, but I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to hound them. And regarding working with Chester, that's another thing where it's like I will not do something just because I think I can. I will approach him if it feels right. How's that? That's how I like to do things, is by feel. So it's another reason why I don't go and become a Patreon member to get steady money from you, because I just want to I'd like to at least have the illusion that what I'm doing is natural. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel obligated. Like today, getting on and making this video, not really feeling obligated. It's kind of like, well, I had that interview yesterday. Let's do a follow-up on it. It gives, you know, it's kind of a purpose for it. I'm glad so many of you enjoy the interviews, and it's enjoyable. It is. It's enjoyable, and okay. You want to see a record? I'll show a record. I've only played one yesterday. Tim Berne, Fulton Street Maul. I always forget what he plays because I'll be listening to the record and it's like I'm hearing all this stuff. And frankly, yesterday, what the instrument that really stood out to me on this album yesterday was guitar, and that's Bill Frisell. Nils Klein's brother Alex Klein is on here on percussion and harmonic singing. Tim Berne is on alto saxophone with Hank Roberts on cello. So I think really what I like mostly about Berne is I have a couple of his albums, is his how he puts the musicians together and the general shape of the music, which is somewhere between jazz and something else, not rock and roll, not rock at all. Tim Berne, good cover too. I like that cover. I think that's the only record that I have. Oh no, okay, good. Got a couple other things. I've been yakking. I'll show it again. Really proud of this. I look on Third Man Records. They're still featuring it. Looks like it's selling. So get it. The RAF2. Get it. I recently joined a group, the JBK group, Jansen Barbieri Karn group on Facebook. Apparently it is officially approved by Richard Barbieri, and there is some interaction with him on the page. So I've been posting on there, and what I posted yesterday and listened to was Dali's Car, their first album, The Waking Hour, Mick Karn with Peter Murphy. This is really quite notable for Mick Karn's bass lines. The bass lines in here are just really something. Really something. He was so underrated, highly original bass player. It's like he has a serpent in his hands or something. And then records, because I'll be looking for one thing and something else will kind of pop out and then say, okay, I haven't listened to that in a while. 12-inch single by the Daisy Hill Puppy Farm. I think this is the only thing they put out. I wouldn't call this shoegaze, but I think people call it shoegaze. To me, this is a little bit more derivative of Jesus and Mary Chain. I've never considered Jesus and Mary Chain shoegaze, even though they're considered shoegaze. To me, they're, again, just a direct connection. Primal Scream, they came out. But Jesus and Mary Chain were so primal to me that it's like, when I first heard them, I didn't know what was going on. And that's kind of a perfect reaction to something like that, which is, okay, just somebody let this cat out of the bag. And it's very, very similar to the beginnings of anything like rock and roll, or like when funk first started, when James funked things up, and it's like, what? That's how Jesus and Mary Chain struck me. Never navally shoegazy, but more in the vein of just the straight history of rock music. It's a rock band. So that's what these guys sound like, in that vein. And 2 of the 4 songs in here are, the way they play them are good. I don't know what they're singing about, but I like the churn of the music. I like it. I do. I sure do. I won't bother trying to hawk CDs today. If you want to buy some, then you will. If you don't, you won't. What's on my agenda today? Nothing. And that's nice. Yesterday was a busy day. After I had the interview with Chester, which just pumped me up. These encounters are wonderful. It felt so cool to share the story with Chester about how when they played in Omaha, he spotted me and gave me the power sign. That just little stuff like that means so much. But afterwards, I went and visited my friends, Nick and Kat Fackler, and the baby. It's interesting how I don't even realize it, but I end up going on the baby's so. The last visit I saw, it ended up being on the baby's 6-month birthday. Yesterday I went to see, it was the 19th. I didn't even think about it. The 19th was my brother's birthday. That's when Faye, their baby, was born. Yesterday it worked out. I made the visit. So it ended up being like an 8-month. I'm so glad that little Faye remembers me. And she just steals my heart. She's just adorable. If you follow me on Facebook, that's one of the pictures. That's my profile picture today with Nick and family. I love those people very much. They are like extended family. Speaking of family and other people that I care about, I see that the weather, it's like I said, climate change. But California and the rain, I checked with my family. They're all okay. They aren't in the mudslide areas of LA. But I hope folks who are okay, and hope the weather calms down a little bit. So this record is sticking out over here. So I'll grab it. I'll just grab it. Recently, I actually tried to listen to this while going to sleep, and it was a mistake. So I had to take it off. The United States of America. This is not an original. I used to have one. I really don't know what happened to it, except it didn't have the paper bag outer. I did have an original Columbia pressing. As the years go by, I don't remember selling a lot of these records. And if I did, it's like there was that one period where I've explained, where I was having a psychotic break. But beyond that, like, for example, my other friend Nick, who was by on Sunday, we had a long talk about several things. I wouldn't mind sharing some if I remember it. But during our conversation, I brought up to him, well, I gave you some records, and I gave him a stereo. Basically, I gave him a turntable and stuff and some records. One of the records, I never really liked it, but it's like, in retrospect, it really does fit. And I asked him, I'd be willing to buy that back from you. It fits in my collection. If he gives it back to me or sells it back to me, I'll show you. I won't say what it is. So this, when it was reissued, I grabbed it. This is, it was one of those records that was pointing towards the future. The use of electronics. Joseph Byrd, he has another album, I have it, Joseph Byrd and the Field Hippies. I forget his background. But this is innovative. And the woman who sings has a wonderful voice. Is it Dorothy Moskowitz? Yeah. This was quite an album, actually. This is really quite good. I'm glad I pulled it to show. There's another band from this period that's like this, and another one where I had an original as a kid, and that one, unfortunately, I played it so much, I destroyed it. So I don't know, I probably sold that. But 50-Foot Hose, let me see. Let me see if I can just spot it real quick. Hooray, 50-Foot Hose, there it is, here it is. Yeah, we'll talk So here's another one where I used to have an original, like I just told the story. 50-Foot Hose, Cauldron. Love stuff like this. It's all angular and weird and not very harmonic in a pleasant way, and very electronic. And this is at the end of the 60s. 69, 1970 is about the time when this album came out. Same with that other record. Both of these might actually be records from the 60s. you don't know either of these albums, United States of America, 50 Foot Hose, check this stuff out. When I pull that, the records next to it, The Field, Looping State of Mind. This is cool stuff on the compact label. It's very repetitive, but it's hypnotic. So if you're in the right mood, or if it's in the right setting, this just, it just creates an atmosphere that is kind of, it's kind of hypnotic. I like stuff like this. What else was there? Okay, here's another one. This one is collectible, but overall, I don't think it's a very good album. And I've had people want to argue with me about it. It's like, I don't want to argue. It's just my opinion. I just think there's like 2 standout tracks on this album. The rest of it is filler to me. Fields. This goes back to again, like around 1971 or so. This was supposed to be possibly a super group in the making, because what we have here is Graham Field, Alan Barry, and Andrew McCulloch. So we have members of Rare Bird, McCulloch from King Crimson, Alan Barry, who also worked with Giles and Fripp, and he's on Gordon Haskell's first album. This is, it starts off promising. It really does. But it doesn't stay good. I have the poster. I have the big, I ain't gonna fold it out. It's another one of those deals where it's a collector's item. Does it have the poster? Found this years ago, used in this kind of shape. So that was a find. And the other 2 albums that got pulled are in the F section. Finch, Glory of the Inner Force. Fusion, instrumental band. Good stuff. Are these guys from Holland? Yes, it looks like 1975 here. And I have this one. I have one. I think I have 3 or 4 albums. I've got these 2, Galleons of Passion, and this one, Glory of the Inner Force. There's another one that's pretty common among prog heads that I don't have anymore. Again, one of those bands I've had and gotten rid of. So there's some records for you today. So I'll put it out there again. It's like it was through you folks that I was able to interview Gentle Giant and this recent one, Chester Thompson. It was my friendship with other folks where those happened, like the recent one with Mick Conroy of Modern English. I hear from him through Facebook almost all the time. He was just out going gaga over my interview with Chester Thompson. I love that. Jonas Bier from Mew. He and I chit-chat all the time. We were just talking about modular synthesizers through Instagram. These are my friends, and so that's how those things happened. And there's other folks where this could happen as a result. Nothing's popping up. But as a result of, like I said, of talking to Chester yesterday, if you ask me, well, who else do you really want to talk to? Steve Hackett. Peter Gabriel come to mind right away. Okay? All righty, I'm going to just leave it right there. Stay in touch, folks. Oh, no. I did want to say one more thing. So I do see in the comments, sometimes people will share how they kind of feel alone and that these videos fill a void or help. I'm glad to know that. I also want to encourage you. I know that it's not easy for everyone to be social and to change your behavior. But the thing that I keep learning over and over again is that if I make an effort, I'll get a result. And if you're the sort of person who is afraid of people or you have never been very social, I challenge you to challenge that thought, because you can talk to people. You can make friends. It's not impossible. And the thing that there is a epidemic of loneliness happening in this country and probably in the world. when I go out in public and I just do things in general, I encounter people hungry for interaction, hungry for it. Now we have to be careful and don't be naive, you know. I'm dealing with a situation right now where I'm wondering, has this person having some problems, or are they fooling me? Did they fool me again? And I won't go into detail because I still want to find out. But effort produces result. And people in general are not aliens. Don't be afraid of people, especially if you're alone and lonely. I'm not lonely. I enjoy my alone time. And as I shared, if I want to have company or be with people, I can. You can too. Okay? Talk to me, people.